Hello everyone, welcome to the Silver Sailfish Derby Rules Review video. Hey, this video is a great way to keep everybody on the same page. It's just a summary of the rules. A complete list of all of the rules is in the Derby magazine and on the Fishing Club website. It's your responsibility to know the rules, so please share this video with other members of your team. The last thing we want is to have an angler or a whole team disappointed because they were unfamiliar with the rules. All right, let's dive right into it. There are no professional anglers in the Silver Sailfish Derby. Hey, we recognize that professional is defined a lot of different ways in a lot of different tournaments. Here's how we define it. If you've been paid an agreement up front that you're going to get paid to go fish, work in the pit, captain the boat, be an angler in the last 12 months, then you're considered a professional in the Silver Sailfish Derby. Sometimes we get questions from anglers, hey, I deliver yachts for a living. Does that make me a professional? The answer is no. The distinction here is if you get paid to go fishing, then you're considered a professional. Derby boats are required to visually check out each morning before fishing, beginning at 6:30 a.m. Our checkout boat will be located inside the inlet with all kinds of flags and banners flying, so they should be easy to see. When you slide by the checkout boat, be sure to show them your boat number. They will audibly verify you on VHF 79 as you go out the chute. Now, if for some reason you're unable to check out before 8 a.m., be sure to check out with us at Sailfish Marina before heading offshore. Fishing times are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day, and you must return to Sailfish Marina by 5:30 p.m. each day to turn in your score sheets and SD cards. The official VHF channel of the Silver Sailfish Derby is 79. If for some reason that channel gets jammed up, 80 is our backup. Now on the back of your boat number are cell numbers for the radio committee. If for some reason you're out of VHF radio range, be sure you have these numbers plugged into your phone. That way you're already ready to go to call in a sailfish release. Our northern boundary is the St. Lucie Power Plant. The southern boundary is Boca Raton Inlet. You are not allowed to drift across these lines, even if you're fighting a fish. So it's really important to take current and wind drift into consideration. The Silver Sailfish Derby is a 20-pound test tournament. Now, IGFA allows any type of backing, any material, could be braid or heavier mono, as long as you have at least 5 meters, that's 16.5 feet, of 20-pound test top shot. As far as double line and leader goes, you're allowed up to 5 feet of double line and up to 15 feet of any leader material that you like. That's a combined length of 20 feet overall. Only non-stainless steel, non-offset circle hooks are allowed when fishing for sailfish with natural baits, whether they be live or dead. Now, Eagle Claw has been a Derby sponsor for many years. You actually have some Eagle Claw hooks in your Derby boat cooler, but you're allowed to use any brand non-offset circle hook you wish. Again, the important part here is that they're not stainless steel and they're non-offset circle hooks. One of the rules in the Silver Sailfish Derby that levels the playing field for all teams is that everybody is limited to fishing just 4 lines. Now we get some questions about this sometimes. For example, if a fish is tailing down sea, are we allowed to pitch a bait to that fish? The answer is yes, but you've got to sacrifice one of the other 4 lines that's out. And if it's in a kite clip, that means popping it out and reeling it all the way back to the boat before somebody makes the cast to that tailing fish. Another question we get is, can we catch bait while we're fishing? The answer to that question is yes, but again, you have to sacrifice one of your 4 lines to do it. And you're not allowed to catch any eligible species on your multi-hook bait rig. Another question we often get is, are we allowed to set our kites prior to lines in the water? The answer to that question is yes. You can even go so far as to set your fishing lines in the kite clips and have your baits all ready to go as long as the baits stay in the boat until the 8 a.m. start of fishing. You're allowed to use any type of live bait, dead bait, or even artificial bait when fishing for sailfish in the Derby. There is no score distinction between fish caught on these different baits. Also, we do not allow live bait or dead bait chumming in the Derby. In fact, we take it so far that we ask you to retain even your spent baits on board until the end of the fishing day. That way, other boats don't see you tossing used baits overboard and think that you're chumming. Speaking of bait, we do not allow the use of any natural bait, dredges, or teasers in the Derby. Now you are allowed to use artificial ones like strip mylar teasers, maybe squid chains or other lures. Just no natural baits on these rigs. Anybody on board can set the kites, adjust the lines, move rods around in the cockpit, but once a sailfish gets in the spread, it's time for the angler to take over. There is no hooking and handing in the Silver Sailfish Derby. Whoever hooks the fish, fights the fish. Speaking of fighting fish, one exception to IGFA rules that we allow is fighting multiple fish from the covering board or a rod holder. We allow this because we have individual angler awards, and we like to see those anglers catch as many fish as they can. This is a leader touch tournament. Tipping the leader or cork does not count. So for your sailfish to be considered an official release, the leader has to be physically touched by a member of your team. Once the leader, not the double line, is touched, that fish is caught. If possible, try to cut the line as close to the fish's mouth as you can. We know that's not always possible, but please try. If a fish is wrapped up, identify on video that the fish is within touching range of the butt end of a gaff or tag stick. This will constitute a release. No one other than the angler should ever touch the main line. A couple other things to address here. Once the leader touch has been made, that is considered a released fish, even if it takes another run away from the boat. A different person can handle the rod at that point if needed. However, you still have to disconnect from the fish before you can deploy another bait. Also, in case you haven't heard, we have been experiencing a serious shark depredation problem. So to be clear on this, if a fish is bit or mutilated prior to a successful release, that fish will not count. Of course, we all hope we don't see a lot of that. Now it's time to check in with the official voice of the Silver Sailfish Derby, Pete Schultz at Fishing Headquarters up in Jupiter, where our tournament radio committee is based.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the West Palm Beach Fishing Club's 83rd Annual Silver Sailfish Derby. It is officially 8 o'clock. Lines in. Everyone lines in. Good luck today. So it's really important that the first thing we hear is either the boat name or the boat number and then the angler. So a lot of times the best thing to do is call in and say, boat 27, one fish for Dave right now. On the back of your sheet, on your boat number, it tells you exactly what the phone numbers are to get a hold of us, right? So if you can't get a hold of us through the radio, we don't hear you, then you can call us on the cell phone to make sure that we heard about your fish. You know, tag, no tag, it's great to know. Like we put it right here on the sheet. If someone calls in and they've tagged a fish, we put down that it was tagged. And sometimes you don't know that it's tagged until you try to get the tag after you already caught the fish, right? It could be 5 minutes before you get the tag in. You can put it on your sheet and then you can call us later and let us know that it's been tagged. If you have a double header on, just call in the one fish that you caught. That's really the most important thing. And then if I acknowledge you, that means that I got it, okay? Because sometimes it gets really hectic on the radio. I'll call you back and say, hey, boat 17, you're one fish for Dave. Here's your time. You know, so I'll get back to you when I can because sometimes it gets really busy. The time that I give you is the official time. You have to make sure that you communicate with the radio crew as to when you release the fish because our time could be a tiebreaker. So make sure that you get a hold of us and use our time. On the radio, it's really nice, but sometimes it gets kind of crazy. You have to use the cell phone.
Sailfish releases are confirmed via video confirmation in the Silver Sailfish Derby. Here's how that requirement reads in the tournament rules. All Sailfish releases must be verified in a continuous video footage sequence, from the time video evidence confirms identification of the sailfish until the leader is touched and then cut at the time of release. This continuous video must clearly identify the fish, as well as the touching of the leader by a crew member. If a break in footage should occur, the team must re-establish video evidence of the fish, again with a continuous video sequence, up to the leader cut and leader separation. Upon separating the fish from the leader, the proper release card must be displayed on video to mark the completion of the catch. Each team will be issued 2 release cards, one for day 1 and another for day 2. Each team is responsible for providing their own camera and the appropriate media to record footage. SD cards are the only acceptable format, and of course micro SD, which you'll find in a standard GoPro. We'll collect those SD cards along with your score sheets. In your captain's buckets, you'll find these little Ziploc bags. These are a great way to keep your SD cards safe and organized at the end of the day. So, simply put, number 1, clearly identify a sailfish. 2, make that release official by grabbing the leader. And 3, show us that release card to let us know the fish has been separated from the leader. And lastly, here's just some of my best video practices. Communicate with us. It really helps to verbally announce who the angler is fighting the fish. And it's even more helpful to announce what number fish that is for your day of fishing. Next up here, film the fish, not the angler. Keep that camera pointed at the end of the line, not at the angler in the cockpit. You want to catch that fish jumping and clearly identify that sailfish. Hey, and lastly, come prepared. Don't go offshore with just one camera and a half-charged battery. Bring sufficient SD cards. It's just one more preparation in tournament fishing.
Thanks, Buzz. Now let's talk about how to fill out and turn in your daily score sheets. Tournament score sheets are located in your Derby boat cooler. A pro tip here is to pre-fill out the angler information on the score sheet before heading offshore. These are the sheets, along with your SD cards, that you turn in at the end of each fishing day. Prior to turning in your score sheet at the end of the day, double check and make sure you have indicated the proper number of overall sailfish releases and the number of sailfish that you tagged during that fishing day. Hey, it really helps us if you fly the Silver Sailfish Derby Burgee as well. That way our volunteers can identify you as a tournament boat when we try to get your score sheets and SD cards. If you have an eligible fish for our meat fish category, you'll need to bring it to the tournament scale. There are 5 species in this category: kingfish, dolphin, wahoo, tuna, and cobia. The heaviest of those 5 will win an award each day. And remember, not all teams are in the Meat Fish Calcutta, so sometimes it pays to weigh even the smallest of fish. One of the most viewed pages on our club website each year is the Derby Live Scoring page. You can see an up-to-date fleet list on this page, and once the tournament begins, you can watch all the action unfold. Finally, we want to thank our tournament sponsors. These companies provide not only financial support to the tournament, but awards, tournament giveaways, and help us with a lot of logistics. It takes a team to pull this event off, and we are really glad these companies are on our team. Thank you for fishing the world's oldest sailfish tournament and for helping us continue this wonderful offshore tradition. Good luck.